Something is on the horizon. It's powerful, and it's coming in strong. The past 3 weeks may have already felt like a whirlwind. So much change, so many transformations, and a few shocks that may have left you speechless. But believe me when I say that the final week of April will eclipse everything that came before it. I'm being this direct because the moon's movements between April 23rd and April 30th are going to stir something deep within you. It's not subtle energy we're talking about. It's the kind that moves your spirit, shifts your inner world, and echoes far beyond just your personal life. The moon is more than just a celestial body. It's a reflection of the collective, the heartbeat of the people, the pulse of the subconscious mind. It's fast-moving, ever-shifting. Every day it enters a new nakshatra, and every 2.5 days it slips into a new zodiac sign. This pace creates ripples in the energy field that are impossible to ignore. And what makes this particular stretch of time so unique is how the moon is aligning with other planets during its journey. These cosmic alignments are not random. They're fateful, intentional, and soul-stirring. This isn't simply a week for personal breakthroughs or internal growth. It's a period where soul paths are realigning. Energies are shifting into place. The vibrations that truly resonate with your spirit are moving toward you, almost magnetically. What's unfolding is much bigger than any of us individually. This is the realm of earthly astrology, and its effects are collective. They influence communities, nations, the entire human tapestry. Expect global shifts, spiritual wake-up calls, and decisions that leave a lasting impact. We're stepping into a new vibrational era. That energy isn't going to wait for you to catch up. It's going to find you, and it's going to make sure you feel it. So prepare yourself. Be aware. In just a moment, I'll share what this means for you spiritually and how you can ride this wave of change with intention and grace. Before we dive in deeper, let me ask you to do 3 simple things that will align your energy with this message. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop the number 777 in the comments. That number carries a powerful spiritual vibration and adds energetic momentum to this message. If there's someone you care about who might benefit from this energy, go ahead and share this with them too. It could spark something meaningful in their awakening. Now, let's go beneath the surface. On Wednesday, April 23rd, the moon will be in Aquarius, positioned in the healing constellation of Shatabishak. The energy of this day will feel like a gentle but undeniable nudge to tune into your health, both physical and spiritual. You might receive intuitive nudges or even literal signs to pay attention to your body, your habits, and your inner well-being. Shatabishak is known for its potent healing energy. So, if you've been delaying something related to your health, be it a doctor's visit, a cleanse, a change in diet, or even just a need for more rest, this is your invitation to finally take action. But healing isn't just physical. You may feel drawn to begin or deepen a spiritual practice today. Maybe you'll try meditation for the first time, or pick up a book on energy healing or astrology that's been sitting on your shelf for months. You might find yourself gazing at the stars tonight, asking the big questions, wondering if we're truly alone in this vast universe. That curiosity, that pull, is part of the cosmic dance. Let it guide you. With planets in Pisces activating your second house through the lens of the moon, you may also feel shifts around your material world. Your income, values, and how you define security could come into focus. Something within you may no longer be satisfied with the way you're earning money or what you're investing your energy into. You might begin to entertain the idea of turning a passion or soul calling into a source of income. You may not have all the answers yet, but the vision is beginning to form. If moving, buying property, or creating a more rooted lifestyle has been on your mind, the energy supports these themes now. Jupiter's influence in your fourth house is creating an opening for expansion in these areas. You might find yourself browsing real estate listings, driving through neighborhoods you've always dreamed of living in, or even imagining what a new kind of home might feel like. Mars, currently moving through your sixth house, is speaking loud and clear about one thing: your health. This is a time to get real about what your body needs. Maybe it's time to adjust your diet, cut back on certain foods, or declare a meat-free day. The signals from your body will be clear today, so listen closely. You might be surprised by how direct your intuition becomes when you simply choose to pay attention. Then comes Thursday, April 24th. The moon remains in Aquarius and shifts into the constellation of Purva Bhadrapada for the day. This is a beautiful moment for visioning, looking at your life from a higher vantage point. Something within you might feel a push to create real change. Not just wishful thinking, but actual steps toward the future you've been dreaming about. This is the kind of energy that says, don't just think about it. Do something. Maybe you send that email you've been putting off. Maybe you sign up for that course that's been calling your name. Maybe you just sit down and start writing the outline for a project that's been swirling in your mind for months. Whatever it is, trust that the time to begin is now. Even the smallest step today can open a new portal tomorrow. You may also feel a stronger connection to collective energy, causes that matter, voices that need to be heard, people who need support. A single message, a piece of news, or even a passing thought could pull on your heartstrings. That's no accident. That's your soul responding to the larger story we're all a part of. If an idea comes to you that could benefit others, even in a small way, take it seriously. The universe is whispering through you. The stars are especially supportive of community, healing, and shared purpose today. You're not meant to do this journey alone. Look for the connections that lift you up, the conversations that feel like nourishment, and the spaces where you can show up as your most authentic self. As for your financial world, the Pisces planets are still activating your second house. The energy of change continues to move through the way you relate to money and value. This is a chance to start aligning your resources with your soul's true calling. Whether it's exploring new income streams, revisiting your budget, or finding ways to bring more joy and purpose into your work, trust that the universe is opening doors. You just have to be willing to walk through them. Take a moment today to simplify things, especially when it comes to your spending and responsibilities. If you're considering making a move, doing something related to your home, or thinking about an investment, the energy of the day is backing you up. It's Thursday, ruled by Jupiter, the planet of growth and abundance. That expansive energy is on your side, helping you take positive steps forward. But as you move through all of this, don't forget your body. Your health is calling for attention. Maybe it's finally time to start that diet or healthy lifestyle you've been thinking about for ages, but haven't quite managed to begin. Even a small change, like drinking more water or easing into a fitness routine, can make a big difference. One simple, intentional step today could be the spark that sets a powerful transformation in motion. The universe is supporting your growth, but it's up to you to tune into that frequency. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what am I doing today that my future self will thank me for? Because the decisions you make right now are shaping your destiny more than you know. As we move toward Friday, April 25th, the moon glides into the mystical waters of Pisces and prepares to spend the entire day soaking in this sensitive, spiritual, and deeply imaginative realm. Pisces energy doesn't speak in clear sentences or well-organized to-do lists. It speaks in dreams, in the subtle rise and fall of your inner tides. It's the sign of mystics, artists, and empaths. A space where the veil between the material and the spiritual is thin, where imagination drifts into reality, like a fog rolling in over the sea. You may feel this shift almost immediately, especially if you've been moving through your week with structure and routine. The moment the moon touches Pisces, the structure begins to soften, and everything becomes a little more fluid. The edges of your mind may blur as emotions rise to the surface. Dreams become more vivid, and intuition begins to whisper more loudly than reason. What's even more compelling about this day is the moon's alignment with Mercury, which is also nestled within Pisces. Mercury, the planet of the mind, thoughts, and communication, doesn't feel entirely comfortable here. It's like trying to write a technical manual underwater. Things don't come out as clearly as you'd like. The usual linear paths of thinking give way to scattered impressions, creative bursts, and sudden emotional waves that color your perceptions. Your thoughts might feel tangled, like strings of holiday lights that somehow got knotted in storage. You may find yourself drifting into memories you hadn't planned to revisit, or losing your train of thought mid-conversation. It's okay. There's no need to resist the fog. You're not meant to have all the answers today. You're meant to wander a little. This foggy mental state, while frustrating to our productivity-driven minds, isn't something to fix. It's something to feel. Let it be a signal that your spirit is asking for a pause. This is sacred space. An invitation to drop out of the frantic pace of life and drift inward, even if only for a few hours. Your imagination is not a distraction. It's your medicine. It knows how to guide you when the path ahead looks uncertain. It knows how to bring healing through color, sound, and feeling when words fall short. So instead of forcing clarity today, invite in creativity. Let your inner child play. Listen to music that melts your heart or brings tears to your eyes. Watch a film that stirs something old and unspoken within you. Write in your journal without trying to make sense of it all. Let your feelings spill onto the page without judgment or pressure. Pisces moon. Days are ideal for dream work, for quiet reflection, for creating art that doesn't need to be perfect, only honest. There is deep nourishment here if you're willing to surrender to the flow. You don't have to be productive in the traditional sense. Simply showing up for your soul is more than enough. At the same time, a conjunction between Venus and Saturn may bring a different kind of emotional texture to the day. Something heavier, something more sobering. Venus rules love, beauty, and our connections to others, while Saturn represents structure, responsibility, and sometimes limitations. When these two energies merge, you may feel a sense of emotional distance, even loneliness. You might find yourself questioning your relationships, wondering if you're truly seen, valued, or understood. This transit can be tender and raw, especially for those who wear their hearts on their sleeves. If you find yourself feeling isolated or disconnected from the ones you love, know that this too is part of the energetic terrain. It doesn't mean you're broken or unlovable. It simply means there's space right now for you to meet yourself more deeply. Not everything that feels like absence is loss. Sometimes it's space being made for something more authentic to enter. Instead of spiraling into old narratives of not enoughness, hold your heart with gentleness. Let this be a moment where you become your own sanctuary. Light a candle, sit in silence, ask yourself what you need. Then, if you can, offer it to yourself without delay. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is simply show up for ourselves when we feel like no one else is. This energy isn't here to punish you. It's here to teach you emotional maturity. Venus-Saturn moments ask us to build stronger emotional foundations. They ask us to commit more deeply to what's real, not just what's easy or idealized. And sometimes, before we can do that with someone else, we have to do it with ourselves. So if you're feeling like you're walking through fog, both mentally and emotionally, just know that this day was made for that. It's not an accident, it's alignment. As we move into the weekend, especially on Saturday, April 26th, the emotional and spiritual undertones of the week deepen even further. The moon shifts into Revati Nakshatra, the final star of the zodiac, which carries a sacred, luminous quality. Ruled by Pushan, the divine shepherd and protector of travelers, this lunar mansion encourages you to journey, whether outward across physical landscapes or inward through the realms of thought and spirit. It's a powerful time for any kind of movement that brings healing, reflection, or closure. If your soul has been longing for a change of scenery, a visit to a quiet retreat space, or even a spontaneous weekend road trip, this could be the perfect moment. There's divine guidance in motion now. You might feel pulled toward a location that brings you peace, or into a conversation that shifts your perspective. Even if you don't physically travel, your inner world is preparing for a significant shift. Pay attention to the signs, symbols, and synchronicities that arise around you. The universe speaks in subtle ways under Revati's influence. This placement also brings a sense of protection for all journeys, those of the heart, the mind, and the body. And with Jupiter casting its gaze upon the moon from the third house, your movements, communications, and short trips are under the care of a benevolent cosmic guardian. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, so you might find that a simple phone call leads to a meaningful reconnection, or a short walk becomes the backdrop for a powerful insight. Trust where you feel drawn. Move in the direction of what feels light and true. You're being gently guided. Yet, even as movement is blessed and encouraged, another layer of the cosmos reminds us that we are still in the deep descent of the lunar cycle. The moon is in its waning phase, growing darker by the day as it approaches its rebirth. This is the time of closures, completions, and quiet transitions. It's not the moment to launch bold new ideas or begin long-term commitments. Instead, it's a moment to return to what is unfinished, to tie up loose ends, to gently lay something to rest. Maybe there's a task that's been hanging over your head for weeks, a creative project waiting for your attention, a message you've been meaning to send, or a promise you made to yourself that you've delayed. These final days before the new moon are like a cosmic breath out. They're a sacred invitation to empty out, to clear the clutter, not just from your calendar, but from your heart. And on a deeper level, this dark moon phase asks you to look closely at the emotional patterns or attachments you've outgrown. Is there a relationship dynamic that no longer aligns with your growth? A habit that's been quietly draining your energy? An old story you keep telling yourself that feels heavy now, like wearing a coat that's a size too small? Let this be the moment you begin to release it, not with force or finality, but with grace. Let go with gratitude. You can honor what was and still make space for what's to come. Letting go doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be a quiet, sacred act of self-love, a decision to stop over-explaining yourself. A moment of truth whispered in the mirror, a soft boundary drawn without needing to justify it. These are powerful acts of closure, and they prepare the soil for new seeds to be planted when the new moon arrives. And let's not forget the physical realm, which is also part of this energetic story. As above, so below. The outer world is a mirror of the inner world. If your emotional landscape feels cluttered, chances are your physical environment does too. Use this weekend to simplify, to clear space. Even something as small as cleaning out a junk drawer, organizing your workspace, or deleting old files from your phone can shift the energy around you. You'll be amazed at how a little external tidying can bring surprising clarity to your inner world. So, take your time with all of it. There's no rush. This is not about productivity. It's about presence. About being with yourself honestly and gently. About honoring the quiet wisdom that lives inside you. When you allow yourself to pause, reflect, and release, you become a living vessel for the sacred rhythm of life. You align with the natural flow of endings and beginnings, which always follow each other like the tide. And most of all, remember, endings are not failures. They are transitions. They are openings. They are the soft exhale before the next big inhale. They are the final note of one song making space for a new melody. So whatever you're closing, whatever you're releasing, do it with reverence. Bless it as it goes. Trust that what is meant to come next is already on its way. You are not lost in the fog. You are being rewoven in the dark. The light will return, and when it does, you'll be ready. This theme of release and renewal is not just a poetic notion. It's a profound energetic truth being whispered through the cosmos, especially now, as we approach April 27th. On this sacred day, we are invited to stand at the threshold of a new lunar cycle. A new moon arrives, potent and powerful, carrying with it the themes of initiation, courage, and deep inner shifts. It's a moon many sensitives, seekers, and soul-led individuals have been intuitively feeling build for some time. And now, it's here. According to the sidereal zodiac, which aligns more precisely with the actual constellations above us, this new moon takes place in the fiery initiating sign of Aries. While many calendars declare it to be Taurus season, energetically, we are still deep in Aries terrain. And that difference is not just technical, it's transformational. Because Aries is not just the first sign of the zodiac, it is the spark. It is the match that lights the fire. It is that first inhale after a long exhale, the heartbeat quickening when something new is about to begin. Aries is ruled by Mars, the planet of courage, drive, instinct, and vitality. When we're moving with Aries energy, we're not waiting for permission. We're listening to the pulse of life itself, to that gut feeling, to that holy restlessness that tells us change is not only coming, it's already begun inside of us. The sun, now shining with exceptional strength in Aries, unites with the moon in the early degrees of this sign, illuminating the nakshatra of Ashwini. Ashwini is the very first lunar mansion, nakshatras being the 27 star clusters that carry distinct spiritual meanings in Vedic astrology. Ashwini is ruled by twin horse-headed deities known as the Ashwini Kumaras, celestial healers and physicians to the gods. Their energy is swift, agile, and infused with the essence of divine medicine. They gallop into our consciousness with clarity, with answers, and with the sort of intuitive healing that doesn't need to be explained in words. You might feel this influence not as a thunderous call to action, but as a quiet readiness, awakening inside of you, like something within your spirit has finally clicked into place. This new moon in Ashwini is a beginning of beginnings. It's the cosmic dawn, the inhale before the journey begins. And while it's tempting to think beginnings must always look like bold action or dramatic reinvention, the truth is that the most meaningful beginnings often happen within. They begin with a decision, a whisper, a sudden awareness that you no longer resonate with an old identity, that you're ready to shift, even if you don't yet know what that shift looks like in form. There's power in the unseen. There's potency in the moment before the seed breaks open. You may feel something subtle rise to the surface now, a long-lost dream stirring, a vision resurfacing, a sense of clarity that begins not with logic, but with a feeling in your bones. This is the work of the new moon, not to force you into doing, but to invite you into becoming. To ask quietly, what wants to begin through you? Even if now is not the time for visible movement or outward launches, there is immense power in tending to the internal groundwork. Under this new moon, writing down your intentions, setting fresh goals, or even just allowing yourself to believe in a new timeline is sacred labor. In a world obsessed with hustle and speed, Aries reminds us that aligned beginnings don't start with frenzy. They start with fire, and that fire lives within your willingness to trust the invisible. Ashwini also blesses travel, especially short journeys with purpose. If you've been feeling the urge to take a quick trip, whether it's a drive out of town, a walk in nature, or a spontaneous visit to a place that grounds you, know that the stars support it. Between April 25th and 27th, the cosmic winds favor movement that brings perspective. Pushan, the divine protector of travelers, governs this nakshatra and guides us safely through physical and metaphorical journeys. Sometimes the clarity we seek doesn't come through contemplation alone. Sometimes we need to move the body to shift the energy, to shake loose the thoughts that have become too tightly wound. And while Ashwini plants the seed, the sun's presence in Parani, a nakshatra known for its transformational potency, offers the promise of emergence. Parani is ruled by Yama, the god of death and dharma, who ensures that nothing enters or exits the world out of alignment. This star cluster holds space for the messy, beautiful in-between of death and rebirth. With the new moon nestled between these energies, Ashwini's initiating spark, and Parani's power of transition, we are witnessing not just a new beginning, but a sacred reconfiguration. This is the quiet revolution within your soul, the moment when something once buried begins to rise, the moment you become aware of an old story that no longer fits, the moment you stop clinging to the version of yourself that was only ever meant to be temporary. You don't need to know what comes next. You only need to know that you are ready. And yet, as is so often the case with powerful astrological alignments, there is contrast. Alongside this quiet moon, another energy simmers in the heavens, one far less subtle and far more intense. On April 26th, Mars and Pluto form an exact opposition, casting their shadows across the days surrounding this lunation. This planetary face-off will be felt deeply from April 25th through the 28th, and its influence cannot be ignored. Mars, the ruling planet of Aries, is now transiting Cancer, a sign that stirs his emotions and draws out his defensiveness. Here, Mars is not the confident warrior, but the fierce protector, the one who fights for home, for family, for emotional truth. Across the zodiac, Pluto sits in Capricorn, the sign of structure, order, and legacy. Pluto in Capricorn is about systemic transformation, the slow, sometimes painful, tearing down of false structures so something more truthful can be born. When Mars and Pluto oppose each other, we feel it in our bones. Their energy is raw, primal, and unfiltered. It can bring repressed anger to the surface. It can stir collective unrest, geopolitical friction, and personal confrontations that feel unavoidable. This is not an alignment that asks for passivity. It demands presence. But presence doesn't always mean action. Sometimes the most powerful response to intensity is to create a sacred pause, to step back and witness, to breathe rather than react. You may notice this energy in the world around you, arguments flaring, tension rising, fear gripping tightly. But you may also feel it internally. Maybe old wounds resurface. Maybe you feel a fire rising in your chest and aren't sure where to place it. This is Mars-Pluto energy, asking you to face what you've buried, to own your anger without becoming it, to acknowledge the fear without feeding it, to look at your own shadows, not with judgment, but with compassion. These moments are alchemical. They don't come to punish, they come to purify. So if you find yourself in the midst of emotional upheaval, remember that healing isn't always gentle. Sometimes it requires us to sit in the fire and not run, to feel the fullness of what we've suppressed, so we can finally release it. In the midst of all this, the invitation of this new moon becomes even more precious. The world may be swirling in chaos, but you don't have to be. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to tend your own flame. Let others chase the storm, if they wish. You can choose stillness. You can choose clarity. You can choose to root into the truth that not all battles are yours to fight. April, as a whole, has not been a quiet month. It has stirred the pot, shaken old stories loose, and illuminated the places where truth and illusion collide. For many, this has meant emotional intensity, the resurfacing of old pain, or a deep, aching fatigue. Maybe you felt overwhelmed. Maybe you've been tested. Maybe it feels like the ground beneath you has been shifting faster than you can find your footing. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still open to what comes next. And that, in itself, is a kind of rebirth. This new moon in Aries is not about fixing everything. It's not about sudden clarity or grand resolutions. It's about meeting yourself where you are, with honesty, with love, and with a willingness to begin again. It's about taking the smallest step toward a new way of being. It's about trusting the quiet voice that says, "You're ready," even if you don't feel ready. It's about honoring the version of you that's being born, even if you haven't met them fully yet. So, as the moon darkens and the sky holds its breath, take a moment to close your eyes, to touch your heart, to whisper your intention into the space between your breaths. Whether it's healing, courage, clarity, or simply the strength to keep going, know that this new moon hears you. The stars above may be vast and ancient, but they are listening, and somewhere, within that cosmic silence, something new is already beginning. Something brave, something beautiful. This is your reminder. You don't have to do everything at once. You don't have to carry every answer, every solution, or every path within your hands right now. Life is not a race. It is a rhythm, and it moves in waves, sometimes wild and loud, sometimes still and whispering. What matters most in this moment is not how far ahead you are, but how deeply you're willing to listen, to tune in, clear the noise, and reconnect with what's true for you. This is the space where real transformation begins. It's not always explosive or grandiose. Often it's quiet, gentle, like the sound of a stream breaking through frozen ground in early spring. The healing doesn't always roar. Sometimes it hums. Sometimes it simply breathes. The spark doesn't always come in a flash of lightning. Sometimes it flickers softly, waiting for you to tend to it, to breathe into it, to trust it enough to let it grow. You're in a season of awakening, a time when the soil of your life is beginning to loosen, when frozen parts of your heart are beginning to thaw. This month carries the energy of a shift, not a thunderous one, but one that speaks to you in sighs, in stillness, in the unspoken places of your spirit. It's a time of return. Return to yourself. Return to your intentions. Return to the dreams you may have once buried under practicality or fear. Something is changing. Something is mending. Even if you can't see it yet, feel it. Trust it. Jupiter's position in the second house from this new moon amplifies this quiet wave of growth, with a gentle but promising sense of stability. Think of this as a season of setting roots, a time to build foundations that can hold the abundance you are calling in. And this isn't just about financial gain, though for many, this could indeed be a time when money matters improve or start aligning with long-term goals. It's about recognizing your worth, realigning your values, and choosing to live in a way that honors what matters most to you. Maybe you've been planting seeds without realizing it. Seeds of intention, of healing, of bold new choices. Maybe you've been quietly dreaming of a different kind of life, a deeper kind of purpose. And now, the energy is beginning to shift in your favor. Now the ground is warming. Now things can grow. This new moon doesn't simply represent a blank slate. It comes after a period of closures and quiet endings. Chapters you've outgrown are quietly dissolving. Old wounds are slowly losing their grip. You may feel yourself being drawn inward, not to escape the world, but to better understand your place within it. There's a powerful call to return to your roots, to what truly nourishes your soul, to what makes you feel alive, to what reminds you of your own sacred truth. You are being asked to lead yourself home, to step into your own authority, to make decisions not from fear but from alignment. And yes, the cosmos may be whispering encouragement, but they are also asking you to show up. Not perfectly, not with all the answers, but with presence, with intention, with the willingness to keep choosing what honors your growth over and over again. This moment doesn't require urgency. It asks for trust. It invites you to slow down, to become more present, to listen, not to the chaos of the outside world, but to the deep, unwavering voice that lives within your bones. That voice is your compass. And even when the path isn't clear, that voice will guide you step by step, choice by choice. As the calendar shifts toward April 28th, the moon, still in Aries, begins to emerge from the shadow of the new moon. This is the waxing phase, a time when energy builds, when light returns, when the intentions whispered into darkness begin to stir toward the surface. What was once internal now begins to reach outward. The quiet becomes momentum. The stillness begins to move. The moon's entry into the Kritika nakshatra on this day adds another layer of powerful energy. Kritika is not soft. It is precise. It cuts through illusion, exposes truth, and invites clarity. Under this influence, you may feel like the fog is lifting. Suddenly, the answers that eluded you are now within reach. You may find yourself seeing your life with new eyes, recognizing what fits, what doesn't, what needs to be released, and what deserves your full commitment. Kritika doesn't waver. It doesn't deal in half-truths or avoidance. It demands honesty, not just with others, but with yourself. It invites you to stop pretending, stop delaying, stop hiding. Under its influence, decisions become clear. Choices rise to the surface. And while this clarity is a gift, it also brings responsibility. When you know what you must do, you can no longer pretend you don't. This is where your power comes in. This is where you are asked to not just know your truth, but to live it. And yes, that might require you to release something you once clung to. A belief, a pattern, a relationship, a fear. Whatever it is, if it no longer serves your becoming, Kritika will gently, and sometimes not so gently, nudge you to let it go. But let go with grace. Let go with gratitude. Let go knowing that you're not losing but creating space. Space for what is real, what is right, what is deeply aligned with your next chapter. Kritika also reminds us that simplicity is sacred, that in a world that often glorifies chaos and noise, there is something revolutionary about choosing clarity, about cutting through distractions, about returning to what truly matters. Use this day as an opportunity to declutter your mind, your environment, your heart. Let yourself shed what weighs you down. Let the unnecessary fall away. At the same time, be aware of Kritika's fire. It burns with intensity, and that intensity can lead to impatience. You might feel the urge to act impulsively, to force progress, to demand quick results. But wisdom doesn't rush. Transformation doesn't bloom under pressure. Let your clarity guide your actions. But don't let urgency distort your path. There is strength in timing. there is power in restraint. And remember, you're not the only one feeling this fire. The collective is under pressure too, with a strong Mars-Pluto opposition stirring the emotional and energetic pot. Tempers may flare, power dynamics may shift, reactions may feel stronger than usual. But you don't have to engage in the chaos. You don't have to lose your center. You are allowed to observe without absorbing, to respond without reacting, to protect your peace without explanation. Let this moment be a sacred checkpoint, a chance to ask yourself, am I moving from fear or from truth? Am I reacting to the noise or responding to the knowing within me? Am I letting the fire guide me toward growth or letting it consume my balance? You have the capacity to channel this fire with wisdom, to move forward with clarity, to make powerful choices that align with the life you are here to live. Let your yes be full. Let your no be honest. Let your boundaries be clear. Let your intentions be strong. And most of all, let yourself trust this unfolding. Trust that even when you cannot see the full picture, the seeds you are planting today are sacred. The shifts you are making are significant. The clarity you are receiving is not random. It is earned, it is meaningful, and it is part of your soul's evolution. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lost. You are simply in motion, moving through layers, shedding what no longer fits, claiming what is yours, and becoming who you are meant to be. So breathe deep. Place your hand over your heart. And remember, there is wisdom in your body. There is truth in your stillness. There is clarity rising within you, like the moon herself, growing brighter each night, not rushing, but becoming. As we gently approach April 29th, there's something unmistakably tender, stirring in the air. The cosmic landscape begins to open, not with a loud roar, but with a soothing breath, like the soft unfolding of petals at dawn. The energy becomes deeply nourishing, almost maternal, as if the universe is wrapping us in a warm embrace and whispering, "You've made it through the hard part. Now, let's breathe together." At the center of this softening stands a powerful alignment, the moon conjunct Jupiter. This meeting is not just a casual glance between celestial bodies. It is a heart-to-heart exchange, a spiritual alignment that invites us to open wider to life's beauty and potential. The moon, the keeper of our inner world, emotions, and the quiet tides of our hearts, merges with Jupiter, the great magnifier, the planet of optimism, growth, expansion, and divine insight. When these two forces unite, we are offered more than just a nice day. We are given a deeply healing experience. This is the kind of energy that reaches into your soul, encouraging you to remember that your capacity for joy, for love, for abundance is so much greater than you might have realized. It's like someone turning on a light in a room you didn't know was there. Suddenly you can see possibilities. You can feel hope again. You can sense the quiet promise of a future that actually feels good to step into. Let yourself lean into this. Let yourself receive it. That might sound simple, but for many of us, receiving is the hardest thing. We're so used to doing, fixing, helping, giving, striving. But today, the cosmos invites you to soften your grip on all that effort. It's okay to rest in the grace that's being offered. It's okay to allow beauty to find you. You don't have to chase it. It's already arriving. This Moon-Jupiter conjunction brings not just inspiration, but also insight. You might suddenly understand something about yourself that had eluded you for months. You might feel a long-awaited sense of peace about a decision, or experience a burst of clarity that helps you reframe a struggle you've been carrying. This is soulful expansion, not in the sense of climbing higher or running faster, but in feeling wider, more open, more receptive to life's unfolding magic. This is a moment to drop into your heart and ask, what truly fills me? Not just what looks good on paper, or what keeps others happy, but what nourishes the deepest parts of who you are. There's a portal opening, one that leads towards something you've perhaps only dared to dream about. But now, Now it feels closer, tangible, possible. The truth is, everything you've been moving through, every piece of shedding, every quiet act of bravery, every tear, every boundary drawn, every time you chose your healing, it's all brought you here, to this soft, potent edge of something new. You're not standing still. You're on the threshold. And what lies ahead might feel like a long-awaited blessing that finally has your name on it. Breathe that in. Let it land. Let yourself be still for just a moment and feel how real this is. April's energy has been a whirlwind of deep emotions, surprising shifts, and intense internal reckonings. It hasn't been easy. Many of us have faced discomfort in ways we weren't prepared for. The world has felt noisy, full of unrest, disruptions, and emotional highs and lows. But within that chaos, there was a reason. Nothing was random. The challenges were designed to clear space. The storms were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to reveal what truly matters. And now, just as the winds begin to calm, the moon finds herself in Rohini Nakshatra, a star that in Vedic astrology is synonymous with beauty, fertility, creativity, and charisma. Rohini is one of the most magnetic lunar mansions, and its presence enhances everything touched by the moon. Under this star, your desires become more pronounced, but so does your ability to attract what aligns with them. This is a moment of receiving with grace, of seeing your worth reflected back to you, of witnessing how your inner frequency draws in the people, opportunities, and support you need. Financially, creatively, and relationally, the doors are open. Whether you're starting something new or reconnecting with an old dream, the ground beneath your feet is fertile. A project you've been quietly nurturing could gain momentum now. A conversation you've been nervous to have could lead to a breakthrough. Even a simple interaction might evolve into something beautifully meaningful. The skies are offering full permission to believe again, to trust that your dreams aren't naive or foolish. They're sacred, and they're calling for expression. Meanwhile, Mars, that fiery planet of action and drive, is fueling your motivation from the third house, a place associated with communication, courage, and movement. You might find your mind sharper than usual today, your words more magnetic, your energy more focused. If you've been dragging your feet or stuck in doubt, this is the moment to move. Even the smallest action taken now will ripple outward with power. Mars gives you that little cosmic push. Go, speak, try, begin. And when you do, you'll find the road ahead becomes a little clearer, a little more welcoming. And then comes April 30th. If the 29th was a kiss from the universe, the 30th is a full embrace. This is when the moon's conjunction with Jupiter becomes exact and amplified, creating a field of energy that pulses with expansion, inspiration, and divine opportunity. The moon now moves into Mrigashira Nakshatra, a star known for its curiosity, wanderlust, and hunger for deeper understanding. It's a day to say yes to growth, yes to learning, yes to trying something new, not because you're missing something, but because you're ready to add another thread to the rich tapestry of your life. Maybe you'll feel drawn to begin a course, to research something unusual that sparks your spirit, or to ask questions you've been too shy to voice. Don't hold back. This nakshatra invites us to be seekers, to follow what fascinates us, and allow our minds to explore new frontiers. Whatever you begin under this influence is touched by divine curiosity. And that makes it powerful. And it's not just an internal fire that's burning brighter now. The cosmos is surrounding you with support, too. The 11th house, connected to your social networks, friendships, community, and big dreams, is absolutely lit up right now. Rahu, Venus, Mercury, Neptune, and Saturn are all moving through Pisces in this sector of the sky, creating a multidimensional web of connection, imagination, support, and manifestation. If you've been feeling isolated or unsure about your next move, this is where things begin to shift. A conversation could change your trajectory. A new friendship could open a door. An invitation might become the bridge to your next chapter. Let yourself be open to connection. Be available for the magic of aligned encounters. You never know who's been waiting to meet you or what collaboration is just around the corner. Trust that the people showing up now aren't doing so randomly. They're part of your path. Your intuition will know who's meant to stay. Reflecting on the month as a whole, it's impossible to ignore the intensity we've all been moving through. April has brought with it moments of confrontation, both internal and external. Emotional waves, flashes of anger, unexpected arguments, and even collective global tension. Some of us have felt like we were breaking open, facing shadows we didn't know were still lingering. The world has felt uncertain, like it's been holding its breath. But within that tension was an incredible gift. When things crack, light gets in. When the truth surfaces, healing can begin. What's been revealed in recent weeks, the fears, the grief, the unprocessed pain, wasn't meant to shame or overwhelm you. It was meant to show you what's ready to be released, where you've outgrown your own limitations, and what needs to be forgiven. And now we arrive at this sacred pause. The 29th and 30th are a cosmic exhale, a turning point. The most healing, generous, and expansive days of the entire month. They are your reset button, your opportunity to start again, not from scratch, but from experience, from wisdom, from truth. So if you've been waiting for a sign to begin again, this is it. Let go of what no longer belongs to you. Forgive what you can. Release the weight that isn't yours to carry. Then, with even the smallest spark of hope, start walking toward what calls you. Maybe that's a new creative idea, a soulful goal, a personal intention, or simply a new way of showing up in your own life. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to begin. Let your spirit breathe again. Let your heart lift. Let your inner flame grow steady. The stars are lighting the way forward now, not with urgency, but with clarity. You are supported. You are guided. You are loved deeply and endlessly by forces seen and unseen. And most of all, you are ready. Thank you for being here. If this message brought you comfort, strength, or insight, consider passing it on to someone who might need the same encouragement. We're not walking this path alone. And right now, more than ever, we are walking together with the stars, with hope, and with a future full of light ahead.